Is it 6 feet?
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good, Scott. Good to see you, man.
I'm the interpreter.
Sit down. Sit down. You make me nervous. There. Just me and you.
No, I'm good. I'm fine. I don't expect to be here that long. I'll just sit right here.
I've got a brother, a niece, and a nephew who are all doctors. Yeah.
Alright, so before I start, when we speak, there's a microphone, you have to hit the button. And it'll pop up, that's when it's on.
My wife says 12,000 people died from the vaccine, but they're not talking about it. There's no way you couldn't get
Oh,
that.
we're on Zooming.
Well, we're actually on a live stream on YouTube. I do have Zoom up front.
If you put a mask on, cover your face.
Yeah,
But that's the only reason why.
We haven't even started yet.
right? Yeah, here we go. Ding, ding.
I gotta follow him too, I think.
Are you going first?
Huh?
We're going first. John,
Harrington family, that's you.
I don't have one of those jammies.
You want one?
Yeah, but the first order of business under additions and deletions is moving Harrington to the bottom. So you'll be fine.
The check's in the mail, Scott.
Right, yeah, thanks, buddy.
Oh, boy.
I second that.
All right, we ready to record, Leslie?
7 o'clock.
Yeah, you're good to go. Yes.
All right, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Planning and Zoning Commission of Middlefield for Tuesday, April 6, 2021. Leslie, would you take the roll, please?
Sure. Schaefer.
Here.
Dietrich.
Here.
Lindbergh.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Garlic.
Here.
All right, any additions or deletions?
Mr. Chairman, I think we wanted to have a brief discussion regarding something that just came up in regards to propane sales on West High Street at one of the businesses.
All right, we'll make that number 2 under new business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then I.
Okay, we have the minutes from March 9. Has everybody had a chance to review them?
Move their approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, public hearing. We have a lot split consolidation with variances on South Springdale involving parcel numbers 19-091135 and 19-022800 for the Harrington Family Limited Partnership. Again, as a public hearing, anybody here that wishes to speak may. And in the packet, you'll see that we sent out the, variance notifications to all the residents within a whatever that, I can never remember what that radius is. but
200 foot.
200 feet.
200 foot. And from those things that we sent out to all those people within 200 feet, did we get any comments or calls or anything?
We have not.
Okay, I always like to ask that first. All right, John, you want to start us off then? With
Did you send them U.S. mail, John?
Yeah, they may not have gotten it yet.
Nobody got a notice yet. Get after the building's up.
Your mic was hot when you.
That would be funny, yeah.
That's the truth.
So,
I know.
Mr. Harrington has been working with the village since about September, looking at some options for that grassy area on South Springdale just before Walmart. I looked at it zoning-wise back then, and then the only thing that was up in the air was where the actual lots were going to be split. So I really couldn't give it a good read till recently coming in and showing where the lots were. We had some idea where the lots would be split, but couldn't really do a review of it without having a measured drawing, and that recently happened. So essentially, parcel A, which is the parcel immediately to the south, adjacent to the Walmart lot, Mr. Harrington's making a request to split that off of A little bit of the adjacent parcel is going to be consolidated into it to make almost a 40,000 square feet lot.
Can I ask a question real quick, John? So there's two parcel numbers here listed in the public hearing. So I see three things outlined in red. So what are the current lots right now?
One lot.
It's
The whole
one,
thing
it's
is
one
one
big
big
lot.
lot.
Yeah, the
Okay.
grassy area is one big lot. The lot immediately to the west is part of the whole Harrington Square Plaza, currently a parking lot. So essentially what's going to be done is he's going to split off approximately a 1 acre site, and that involves parcel A, which is indicated on the survey, splitting a little bit of the parcel from Harrington Square to consolidate them both together to make that almost, well, it's a 0.89 acre lot. And when Mr. Harrington first came in, he was thinking about splitting it, the 3 lots, but I guess he kind of summed it up and said, hey, I'm only going to cut off the piece of the pie that's actually going to be used right now. So that's where we're at. in
So the
request.
3-lot thing is not the issue tonight. We're talking about there's one big lot, we're going to take one piece off of that and leave the other remaining as existing.
Correct. And in doing so, variances kicked in because of, it requires a 90-foot frontage, and we're only going to have an 81.7-foot frontage with the lot that's going to be created, as well as the lot width is supposed to be 150 feet. We're going to have about 118-foot frontage as measured across the front of the building. That's how we measure lot width. So
if in the future those other two get split into 2 lots, are they all going to need variances for width also then? Would we assume?
We don't know what's gonna go there yet, Scott, so we're kind of.
You need to be, Dave, you need to be on a mic. Because we're live streaming a public meeting, so they gotta hear you. Make sure the line.
We're not sure what's gonna go there yet, so, rather than cutting it up and moving lines later, we don't know what the needs are gonna be in the future, so we leave that alone for now. We were hoping to get 3 lots out of there, but I don't know what the next person's gonna need, so.
I think the one to the north didn't require any kind of variances, but the one in the middle was going to require.
So when you and I talked briefly about ingress and egress, you're going to try to limit curb cuts on that.
That's correct. We
You made
wanted
provision,
to.
with this split, you've made provisions for that.
Well, yeah, we were going to just, well, again, I'm trying to get 3 lots there, but with only 1 curb cut. I requested 1 curb cut
Right.
with an ingress, egress, north and south, within the property lines and the parking area. We've got to create that document. We have not done that yet because, again, I don't know what's going to be there. At the moment, we have made an agreement with the people that are going to put in the car wash to create a document, so we have access to that in the future. But rather than coming back to you folks and say, hey, I need another curb cut, that's a very congested area. And I believe I'm entitled to 1, but if we split it, I think it's a little
So as long as you make
aggressive to ask for 3.
So make sure you had provision with this current
Yeah, oh,
property.
yes.
That could happen if it needs to
Exactly,
be,
yeah.
so, good.
So the other 2 businesses are basically speculative?
Absolutely, yeah.
And going out the egress, it looks like it's going to be a right turn only. Is that correct?
No, they're going to be a right and a left. They got to exit.
Okay, this thing here almost makes it look like you
I'm not sure what you're looking at.
Looks like,
No, you see the triangle in the middle?
Yeah.
That's our right and left turn.
yeah, but how do you turn left out of that if you're coming
you're
out?
going that way.
Well, you go out and then you'd have to turn left. You pocket out, I guess you'd have to leave it up to the vehicle. I don't know that you couldn't turn left out of that right-hand lane.
You need that for anything? Do you need that for anything? Couldn't you just stripe the driveway?
I don't know the answer to that. No,
It's like that triangle,
You
you're
just
right,
leave
a
it,
ledge
leave
is-
it out of there and just put
when you
a,
see that,
put
it pushes you that
arrows.
way, it's like you
Yeah.
can't turn left.
Similar to what we do on the other two down by McDonald's.
Yeah, just
and-
take that out, take that, don't put obstruction there, put a line down the middle, you
Fine,
come in this
that's
way and
fine.
go out that way.
And I'm not sure that's what they were proposing, but that's a good suggestion, just leave it alone.
Yeah, that's usually done for right in, right out when you do that sort of thing. So,
I never pay attention to them, but that's what I think that's what they're for.
No, you.
'Cause, yeah, it's rather close to the Walmart
Don't confuse
entrance.
the buggies.
Any issues with that?
I don't know what the expected traffic might be from the car wash. I don't have any idea.
Well, it looks like it's
On
continuous.
a warm winter day, it'll be really, really busy. I don't know what they're expecting. They have one currently that I visited, Dave, in Willoughby, and I've never seen a huge stacking of vehicles, but
Yeah.
that's yet to be determined.
Well, it looks like that cut would serve all three potential businesses.
Right.
So to Scott's point, the proximity to Walmart, does that raise any concern to the Walmart entrance and exit?
Say, it's not the type of thing like a red light turning green.
It was really hard to decide where that ingress should be, because if you go any farther north, and that's the ingress to the Harrington Square, right there, so there really wasn't a good spot to put it. And nobody stops at Walmart anyways, they just pull out in front of you, because they assume everybody's turning into Walmart.
I say it's not a stream of cars coming out of there. I mean, you wash a car and it leaves, and another car gets washed, and it's
I
like,
agree,
it's
yeah,
not,
there's a lapse.
it's kind of
in
like
between.
Heritage across the street, and you've got the exit from your place. I mean,
Is it going to have the individual spray things, or this is just a drive-through?
Oh, this is
car
just
wash?
a tunnel, it's a drive-through.
Okay.
I met with him today, gave me some renderings if you want me to, Johnny, want me to pass them out? Am I allowed to?
Why do they show so much parking? Like, who's
Yeah,
going to
if you like.
drive in, go through? Like, there's a lot of parking lot. It's like probably 12, 15 spaces per parking.
That's just, there's no, you line up, you drive through, and you go out. There's no reason.
Scott's asking why there's parking showing there.
Those are vacuum spots to vacuum your car. And there are some employees. The employees, again, we don't have the site plan yet. The new owners, hopefully, will bring that to you in the next couple of months, show you some architectural drawings and renderings, engineering. Detention basin. Detention basin looks like it's going to be up on that green grassy area between Walmart, and they're hoping it can accommodate that whole lot. But we're having that conversation now. And it depends on all the falls and the elevations and everything that are there. So that parking is actually vacuums. And they offer free vacuum for anybody that pulls in there.
Yeah, that explains it then.
They do have somebody there that says there's no charge for this, but remember where you want to get your car washed next time, so.
Are there any potential takers for the other two spaces, or are those just purely wide open now? Okay.
We got mine.
Yeah, something?
All right, so I think everybody's got a pretty good handle on what the project is and whatnot, so let's get back to what the actual variances are. The first one, John, repeat it, please. They're supposed to have 90 feet of frontage, and they have 80.17, is that correct?
81.7, yeah. And then they're supposed to have 150-foot width, and it's 118 feet. And if I can also mention that the village engineer has not approved this lot split yet, so the motion should be subject to his approval of it.
So a lot is supposed to have 100 foot of frontage, but 150 foot of width? Like, what if you had a
90 foot of frontage.
90 foot?
We measure the width across the front of the building, and that's how we measure the lot width.
Give me that again.
We measure the lot width across where the building is placed at 90 degrees from the rear lot line. So, may I show you that on the,
Please.
Please do.
There's frontage and there's width of the lot at the building line. So you can have a trapezoid lot as long as it meets both.
That lot's built around the curve, so, yeah. So, the lot frontage is measured up here. The lot width is measured across here.
Where the-
front of building faces
Got it.
the frontage. From lot line to lot line.
What about that extra piece of grass that's by the turn? What's that part of?
Corner,
Yeah.
that's detention.
Oh, but there's the curve that goes into Walmart, that green that's not within.
Oh,
the
that
right-
belongs to Walmart.
Oh, it does? That's the line? Okay.
That's on their property line.
Okay.
That green grass area, we're hoping to get all of our detention in there.
Okay. All right, so the first issue in front of us then is the frontage onto Springdale is 87.1 feet, and it's supposed to be 100.
1.7 instead of 90.
Oh, 81 point, thank you, I did write that down wrong. 81.7.
I don't have any particular grievance about that.
Yeah, no, based on the way it's on that curve.
Right.
Actually, can you just go back to the red picture, Leslie, please? With the red lines? Thank you. So, yeah, the frontage, I don't see an issue with really. I mean, it's not impairing anything. I do like the fact that the parking or the ingress is as far left as you can go. Would be nice if that were in the middle one.
If there could be a little more space between it and the Walmart entrance, I do think that would be better. Like if that could be moved down to be more centered on where that second property might be, I think that might. Because of traffic? Yeah. Kind of center it between the two.
We could have the engineer surely look at that and see if that makes some sense.
If you can do one cut.
Further north.
Yeah, one cut, go further north and enter in on that middle of the second one, and then just have it branch out both ways. That would seem to make sense to me, too.
Obviously, one of the concerns is I don't want to bastardize those other lots until I know what's going to go there. And initially, the car wash, because of the narrow building and the setback and everything, he didn't have a problem having it on his so-called turf and allowing easements, reciprocal easements to access the rest of those facilities. And again, we may just have one building on those two lots. We don't know what the future is going to hold.
Plus, once you get going on it, you may want to have all that room for stacking just for the car wash.
Yeah, there could be
If
some,
you
now,
got-
they do, the car wash does have, John, I don't think I have it, they are gonna have an exit route around the building, so that's not perfect where it's at yet, that's just an initial rendering, I've got some better drawings that they've been working with the architect recently. The building got a little bit smaller than it portrays there, so it's not taken up, so they're gonna probably move it a titch north to have an exit around the building for, if there needs to be stacking, but
Just saying, if they need some of that driveway for stacking, and then you've got other tenants that can't get into the building because of their,
they've also got, if you see on the top, I guess would be the east portion of the building, they've got some parking in there, so I don't know. Once again, we haven't got the final drawing because they didn't want to burn up a lot of money with engineering and architects yet until we know we can get a lot split for them. So we thought we'd just bring some type of a rendering, what they're proposing there. And the building did get a little bit smaller than what is portrayed up there.
All right, so go ahead.
So keep moving.
Yeah. So, okay, the 81 and the 90, so then we get into the building itself, and that's a 118 versus 150. So what's the 118 measurement from the front of the building to the edge of the line? Or am I missing that again?
Walmart property line across the front of the building to the next lot line,
Side lot line to side lot line.
Okay.
at the front of the building.
Yeah, for a car wash. Doesn't seem like it would really matter.
That's a tube. I mean,
Yeah.
That's a 25-foot wide
it's not like
tunnel.
it's not a 30,000 square foot grocery store, it's a tunnel.
Right.
Certainly is well under the 40% or, 60% green space, so.
And if you made it 150 foot, all you do is mow it. Have zero value to the facility.
Well, we can always make adjustments with the reciprocal easement stuff, so it's not really a significant issue with the driveway at this point in time. There's a lot of adjustments to be made, so.
And obviously, if we develop those two lots north, as one or two or whatever it may be, a reciprocal easement and it'll exit onto our so-called main driveway. out of
Yeah.
the Springfield.
We can do things with signage and the like, too, to enhance the traffic flow, pavement markings, all that sort of thing. But that all comes later, you know.
Is that the old bank at the bottom of that first one there?
That is, that's Maggie's Donuts.
Well, anybody have any issues with them? The two different variances, to me, don't seem like they're gonna impair anything negatively in that area.
It's a product we need,
Yeah.
and I think it fits on that lot, you know. We have shoehorn businesses in, that's not even shoehorn that business in. I mean, that's plenty of space for that facility, and additional space will be wasted. I mean, it's like, what are you gonna do with it?
And one of the reasons we're doing some consolidation is not to accommodate for the square footage. We wanted to set the building back from the road a little bit. So there was some lineup with the other building that we have that we built up there, that Georgia's Pizza Medical Facility. And again, it's a little green space in the front, and actually their detention, they want to put a fountain in because they're the car wash business, so. I'm not spending their money, but that was the recommendation from them.
So the flow of the traffic as you come in, you go to the back of the building and go through and come out?
Yes, you're gonna come right in, and it's.
So why wouldn't you, I was just thinking of that, it's not called Alpals anymore, but in Mayfield,
Yeah,
why don't you put an ingress off your parking lot over here?
I asked them, and it made some sense for me to, it doesn't make any sense for me to do it, I get nothing out of it other than wear it out parking lot, but they didn't wanna do that, they don't want that curb cut there. I offered it to
I
them.
just say they stack in that Friday's parking lot for that Alpals.
And I also, my recommendation to them is they're gonna get a lot of that Walmart reciprocal traffic that we get now, but it's not. And I'm fine with it, because all I get to do is pave the parking lot. So it doesn't do anything for me.
Well, maybe we can talk about that some more when we get to the site plan phase.
To me, it makes sense to come in from the back, like,
Well, there's a problem with the point of sale. The point of, they have to wrap all the way around the building, get in line, and they feel that they've got a number of these operations now, and this works.
yeah, I'm sure I mean,
It's like telling McDonald's about their drive-through. They seem to know what works and what
unless we
doesn't.
come in from one side and you come in from the
Yeah,
back, who goes first?
They've got 2 point of sales. They do
Exactly.
have,
Got a
on
little funnel there.
that print that you have, and that little drawing that you have, they have an exit strategy on that. If somebody gets in there and says, oops, I don't want to do this, they can exit out. I don't believe that it's going to be a problem. And again, it's what they do, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel.
All right, any other further discussion on it? Or if not, I think everybody seems to be in favor. Can we get a motion to approve? Can we do the two variances at one time pending the engineers, or should we do each variant separate?
I should do the,
Frontage.
should you could do the two variances, and conditioned upon the lot split being finalized, and then approve the lot split.
Okay. Well, I'll actually make that motion. Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, you're good to go.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in.
Good luck with him.
All right.
See you, thanks, Dave.
All right, Dave.
Sorry.
Good to see you.
All right, old business number one, federated improvement and lot split of the airport discussion revisited at the request of Chairman Klein. Yeah, Chip called me up. Well, first he got a hold of John, then me, and asked if we could put it back on. I since then saw that you've had some emails with Dave that we were CC'd on, so why don't you just go ahead and tell us what you
Yeah,
think?
I brought with me the reason behind the strip and what it has to do with the FAA and ODOT regulations. 250 feet from the runway, you can't build any structures there. It's a no obstacle zone, obstacle-free zone. I've got our airport master plan as well as ODOT and FAA regs with me if you would like to see them. But that's how that strip was established. And I guess, is there a better picture of just showing the strip that with the actual split? That's part of it. There you go. That's how that strip was established. That strip that's on Dave Ford's property now, federal improvements, it can't be built on anyway. And I understand the village's planning code about not creating an unbuildable lot, but the way that 60-foot strip can't be built on it, and the way it sits now, and it just felt fair for us to buy it from Dave so he didn't have to carry it. And I have a picture of the master plan with me if you'd like to see where that comes from.
So our original discussion was the fact it was going to leave a piece of landlocked property with no ingress and egress. Wasn't that how it went, Tom?
Well,
And actually, if they take ownership of that, they've got ingress and egress to that.
Well, Dave Ford has now through his federal improvements to get to
Well,
the back.
I can't remember why we said you had to consolidate it. I don't remember how that discussion went.
Yeah, a bit.
yeah, it's that it doesn't comply with our ordinance that allows for it. Because our ordinance requires that if you're getting access from a private street, that part of the property has to be, there has to be unity of ownership between the individual parcel that's being split off and the private street because of the maintenance issues. In other words, you don't want to have one guy owning the street.
That's not the case.
I understand that.
All right.
So the way to do this, in view of the fact it's the airport authority, is to recommend it to council, have council pass a special ordinance authorizing this. And that's how you trump the lot split ordinance.
I guess, I mean, we're not creating a landlocked parcel. I mean, there's,
Well, unless you get an easement from Dave on the lots, on his private road.
no. No.
They've got ingress and egress off.
You know, the blue piece is what we're splitting off from Dave Ford. The blue has frontage on 608, and the green is the remainder, which Dave has access from his private roads. So
Okay,
yeah, so we're not creating a landlocked parcel.
so you've got the whole parcel.
The entire blue will be split from Dave, and then the county.
And that'll be one parcel owned by the airport authority.
Well, that blue piece will be owned by the airport authority, yes. Yes.
And it also violates the ordinance in that it's not a billable parcel.
Right, I understand that, but it's not buildable the way it is because of FAA and ODOT regulations.
Correct, but it still has to comply with the village ordinances.
I got it.
Because if the airport goes away in 100 years, then you got this piece of land that somebody's going to say,
Right.
Airport sells it.
And we don't want to do the consolidation. We want to save the money so we can put the money somewhere else in the airport.
right. So it's a matter that can be solved by an ordinance, and we probably would want to deed restrict it some way that if ever it loses that restrictive feature that the airport is no longer has need for it, that the airport will reconsolidate it with something else. We'll work out something.
Someday when some things happen, the consolidation may happen. We'd like to put it off until we have to.
Yeah, and I think that can be solved with an ordinance. That gets around the zoning restriction.
Can't just make a requirement that it be consolidated upon, if it ever became a change as far as usage, it would have to be consolidated.
Yeah,
Or that, so everybody that ever sell it,
Yeah, we're fine with that.
yeah, that's fine.
Put in
I don't blame you not want to spend the money. Aren't you a surveyor?
Engineer,
You don't survey too?
well, it's the airport authority money. It's not my money.
Those surveyors are crooks. I mean, all of them.
don't you have to survey the
Man.
Don't you have to survey the parcel to get it
Yes,
recorded?
the Neff Engineering is doing the survey for Dave Ford.
And
And they're creating the blue parcel, which will be the legal description for the transfer of the property, yes.
And do they have to pin it?
Yes,
All right.
yeah. So that parcel's being created and will be transferred ownership to the county commissioners.
Makes sense.
So your restriction would include some language, Tom, that this is not a separate building site.
Right.
Not separate building site, and if ever you know, for whatever reason, we have to figure out what we want to do with
Yeah.
it if the airport ceases to exist or ceases to operate, but
Yeah. See, that, I think that's important, to get that on the deed. Yeah.
That's fine.
And in last month's meeting, we basically said they need to consolidate because it wasn't buildable and it's this and that.
well,
but-
we were trying to figure out how to comply with the village ordinance, and
Right.
I was talking to John about it, and I decided, well, if we want to do this, council can always trump its own ordinances, so.
Yeah, because as he explained to me on the phone, is the airport would have to spend about $7,500 to survey the entire thing to consolidate the lots, more than what they're gonna spend to just survey that little one.
Right.
And it doesn't serve any purpose because it's unbuildable anyway. So we're trying to say, okay, that's fine, but in the future, there might be issues, but right now, it's fine.
Someday we'll worry about it.
First mistake this board's ever made.
Oh, we followed. our
Since
ordinance.
what, 6 or 7?
So, so if everybody's in agreement then that we're okay with lot splitting it and just having it be its own lot, do we need to, what do we need to do?
Make a recommendation to council that it approve the proposed lot, that it recommend to council to pass an ordinance authorizing the lot split subject to to a deed restriction, and we'll go from there, and I'll work on getting that ordinance together for
When would that happen? How soon could that happen?
Thursday night,
Thursday.
Days from now?
Yeah.
provided I get off
It
my.
took back everything I said about you, Ben.
This isn't Burton.
But it's got to go through 7 readings, so you're talking like November. I mean, I
No,
guess.
that'd be great. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm not sure, to me, it was so cut and dried, it had to be consolidated last meeting. I can't, Scott called me, I said,
I understand.
you've got ingress and egress, I'm not sure why I couldn't recall.
I understand at first look why you did what you did, but
Yeah.
because of the FAA and all the rules we have, you can't build on it anyway. Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
We also-
so I'll make
we also don't want to put in a situation where the FAA has said you can't build on this. Therefore, the FAA has required the airport authority to take it. Therefore, all of a sudden Dave Ford's got a takings case. You don't want that.
Well, that's why we're buying it the way we are. Yeah, Dave's been after us for a long time.
All right, does anybody want to make that motion then to take that to council the way that Tom read it out?
so move.
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you
Any
very much.
opposed?
What do you need from us before Thursday?
I'll try to get some language drafted, just so you,
You can look at it.
what's your email, Chip?
G as in George, HESS, @hess-engineering.com. And Scott's got it. We traded, and Dave, we traded some emails.
All right, very good.
Appreciate your time.
Yep.
And reconsidering the issue.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, moving on to new business then. Van Boxel Frost Bar and Grill, 15924 West High Street, Commercial Edition, an outdoor fenced 400 square foot patio. Frost is open now. Yeah,
Open?
no, this is the Town Tavern right
Town
here.
Tavern.
I'm trying to
That's
see.
Taco Bell now. The old Dunkin' Tavern. Whoa. Well, it is Taco Bell now. That was that old White House right there.
Oh, yeah.
God, that was a trip. So, John, fill us in. They're looking to do an outdoor fenced-in patio, right? I think I saw a picture of a
Correct.
black fence or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
400 square feet, 2 gates. He's going to decoratively treat the floor, or the base of the patio.
So would it encompass the garage door and the man door? Like the patio would all be part of that?
It's just before the man door that is closest to West High Street and the garage door. And then it doesn't cover the second man door.
Basically, the two parking spots behind the railroad ties. Right. They used to pull in between the doors.
Yeah, there's always a little picnic table out there anyway, people smoke. And he's gonna do food and drink service out there as well as let smokers go out there, or?
I'm not sure that smoking would be allowed out there, but,
Outdoor.
Yeah.
They may discourage it, but it will be allowed.
Is there an issue with the smoking area being that close to the entrance? Because there are those kinds of provisions with businesses anyway. You'll say, need to be 30 feet from our entrance.
Those Zeppies over in,
Very.
they're right on top of it,
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
which does preclude my wife from going there. So it's a nice little getaway for me.
So it's just a little 20 by 20 patio with it's just a little 20 by 20 decorative patio with a fence around the outside of it then?
Yeah.
Basically.
So what's the patio? What is it?
400 square feet.
I know, but what is it? Is it,
20 by
Or-
20.
It's fenced in, has 2 gates.
but what am I gonna walk on a patio? Am I gonna walk on a,
Is
floor
it
made
the
out of-
parking lot?
am I gonna walk on a parking lot that's there
No,
now?
no,
with a
he's gonna
fence
put a
around
de-
it, or is it gonna be a?
It's in the notes that went with the
I
packet.
didn't,
It's a patio that's going to have a decorative sealant as the floor covering, and it's going to be gray in color.
so it's gonna be built up like a deck, right?
Not to my knowledge, it's still going to have the step down from the patio, from the inside of the,
It'll be raised off
Yeah.
the current surface with something. He's gotta put something on top of it, right?
that's not my understanding. They're just going to put a decorative surface on the existing substrate, and it's not going to be a raised deck or anything like that.
Frankly, he could just put like nature stone on it, right?
Yeah.
The sounds of it. So to your point, it wouldn't be elevated.
There's not gonna be any roof over it, right?
Correct.
The good thing he's got is he's protected from the west sun. So like when you're out there eating dinner, like Vinny's has that problem where the sun hits him so hard on his patio. These guys will be on the shade side, so they'll be better off.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I don't have any issue with it. Does anybody here?
He's losing a couple of parking spaces, but I don't think it matters.
No.
Next, they have the whole Dollar General lot too.
Yeah.
Street parking for 2 hours now. So this is just an application for the permit. There's no variance or anything on this.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't think anybody here has an issue with it.
Still need to submit a formal plan for what it's gonna look like? It'd be nice to see what they have in mind.
Well, it has the components there. It has the outline. It has the example of the fence. If you want to see the furniture or whatever he's going to put in there, I mean, we certainly could ask him for that. What are you looking
Basically
for?
do-
What are you
Basically
looking
do what Dalka did over here, put a
Yeah.
fence out around the front of it.
Yeah.
What's there to a site plan?
Which you have to do to satisfy the liquor control board, don't you? You have to have these fenced in, so.
Yeah, I would think.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the criteria might be there, but, eh.
I was saying with this stuff that everybody's looking for outside, you kind of
A
feel
lot
better
of parking
outside.
areas have became outdoor eating areas during this pandemic.
Oh, yeah, tents put up, everything. All right, well, so yeah, I think everybody's good with it, John.
Oh, very good. Thank
You
you.
guys good down there? Is that right?
You need a motion on that?
So, yeah, we should probably have a motion because it is a commercial addition that, yeah.
All right, make a motion to approve then.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Number 2 under new business that we added was propane sales on West High. Fill us in, John.
Yes. Today I got a call from a rep that's working with E&H Hardware, the Ace Hardware. They were recently here for their outdoor storage permit. It's 15651 West High Street. They want to put in a bulk propane sales kiosk or whatever, just very similar to what Tractor Supply has. And I was talking,
Get the individual tank?
individual tank.
It's a filling station.
Yeah, a filling station, correct. Thank you, Mayor. Most of the sales would be the 20-pound, 30-pound containers. Sometimes with the Amish community, they come in and bring a 100-pound cylinder, but that's not too often. So that's going to be the limits of what they would fill.
Where do they want to put it?
I don't have any details yet in regards to that because they just reached out today, but I wanted to see if you were comfortable with the bulk things that are being filled. Obviously, if they were going to fill bigger containers, it would be more like a gasoline filling station, if you will. So it seems like it's going to be very similar to what Tractor Supply has, that type of setup.
Typical fence and the bollards around it.
Yeah.
So you probably want to talk to the fire department.
Good idea. Yep. Prefer, talk about locations and setbacks would have to be right. And,
Distance to the building, from the building, I should say.
oh, yeah.
We don't currently have any special regulations other than to say that it's, but if we're going to treat it as an accessory use to the hardware sales, we probably ought to try to keep some limit on it. 100 pounds sounds pretty far removed from the typical hardware sale. So I would ask them to figure out what they've got. I'd talk to the fire department for regulations. Also have them verify their insurance covers it. Because they start getting into something like a 100-pound propane fill, you want to make sure that their insurance company knows it, because their insurance company will have something to say about it. And then we can maybe revisit it next month and
Yeah.
decide if we need to, put some significant limitations on it, or say that you're now getting into the realm of filling station, and so you got to go conditional use under our current ordinances.
Must be some regulation, because they all look the same. When you go, anywhere you go to get it filled, the cage is the same. It's got the locked door, it's not wide open. It's like, and there's a limit to how big a tank you can take into them. And you got to carry it in and stick it on the thing, you stick it on a scale. So I got one the other day, and they have a nice improvement. They take your credit card at the filling station.
Yeah.
You just have to give you a ticket. So you parked over there, got your tank filled, put it in your car, walked in the store with this ticket to pay, and now they just,
Started that in September.
done deal. I should have thought of
Yeah,
that.
the only concern I would have would be the location
Yeah.
of it. I mean, if I live in that house right next door, I'm not sure I'd want that size of a tank, because the one at Tractor Supply is massive. I don't know if I'd want that sitting right next to my yard. So I'd like to see what they have.
Find out the details, yeah.
Yeah, it's not so much the hardware store's tank, it's the guy who walks in with a 100-pound tank that has a leak in it. And they put 90 pounds of pressure in, and all of a sudden,
That too.
it starts leaking a lot more than it did when it had 10 pounds in it. And now they got a problem.
Well, yeah, so I guess the message would be, none of us are necessarily opposed to it, but need more detail and need them to check all their fire department, all the other stuff, and then bring it back
departments.
to us with a site plan. All right. Before we move on to the zoning inspector's report, I had one question I was curious about. The Howders that was there, that's empty now, right? And so,
Closed for COVID is the sign I saw on the door. They tell people to go up to Chardon.
The problem he has is he can't get enough product to support 2 stores. The demand is so strong and the supply is so weak.
Okay.
Actually, just bought more from 2 weeks ago, He said, he called me and said, at mower you want, it came in. He said, they just called me and said, my second half of my order will not be filled this year.
Wow.
I got everything I want to get.
The supply chain it's crazy right now.
I don't know if supply chain or it's the demand.
Yeah.
It's both.
I mean, ammunition is 10 times what it should be, and it's not, they say they're supplying as much as they ever did. Its demand is so great.
I think there's some of the, I think it's both, but I know like there was a couple companies talking about, well, like the garage doors are 8 to 10 weeks.
Windows are 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Anything dealing with the home, people are home all the time, so they're buying stuff, they got government checks,
They're not going anywhere, spending money.
and a lot of people aren't working. They're just deciding not to work, or the lower income people are saying, well,
Saw the tractors at Tractor Supply are gone in the front. All they have is the zero
So I
turn.
was going to donate a bike. Mario over here is doing a thing for Jogga Parks, trying to get kids outside, get them off video games. He's trying to get 100 bikes to donate to kids to ride the bike trail. And so I told him I'd bring him a bike Monday. I went to Walmart. The rack is empty. There was a 124, 26-inch bike in the store.
Wow.
Holy crap.
So I asked the guy, I said, he says, yeah, we got them on order. Not sure we're going to get them. He said, Easter wiped us out. Well, then I heard Preston donated 25 bucks or 25 bikes to this guy. I wonder if Preston came in and bought every bike in the store.
Yeah.
The Easter Bunny brought my children bikes.
What's that?
There
The
you go.
Easter Bunny brought my children bikes, but
I
the
guess
Easter
it's a hot
Bunny,
commodity at Easter. I didn't know that. But
the Easter Bunny had to bring an IOU card for a
Oh,
future
wow.
date because there was nothing left.
even the Easter Bunny couldn't find it.
yeah.
He couldn't.
So I'm just saying everything is gone.
Demand, then the steel industry, everybody's jamming busy. I mean, and you can't get enough steel. The mill lead time to get steel right now is like 9 weeks. It's usually 3 to 4. Yeah, it's out of control. Shortages everywhere.
Trishan did our sign today, and the guy that installed the sign said they're inundated. They just never seen the level of business like they've got right now. So
But Senator, then getting back to Howder's, his plan would be to hopefully just move back in there at some point in time?
yeah, I mean,
If he can get supply.
no keeping two places open and with two
Right.
tractors in each. It's like put them both in one place, and
Yeah.
instead of putting one here and one there, he puts them both there.
Where's his other one?
Garden on Water Street.
Right.
It's a nice shop there.
Did they pull everything out of this store?
Looks
I
pretty
haven't
empty.
looked through the window.
He used it. I think he used it for like if he had a snow blower left.
Oh,
He may put it down here like a warehouse, but there's not much in it.
out of seasonal stuff, right? Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, John, zoning inspectors report. Anything particular on there?
Let's see, I had 15 zoning permit applications in March. And then 14, with everything that happened tonight, 14 were granted and 1 remains outstanding. 3 decks, 2 fence permits, commercial occupancy 4, and Roniak Elementary's doing a new sign, electronic sign, so that got approved in the last month, so. Yeah. I started doing my sector by sector drive-bys. So sector 1 is Glen Valley and the whole northeast quadrant here
Okay.
of the village. So roughly 20 things from algae to, some of these vinyl sidings loose and flapping around. And
You've already sent out 20 letters?
I haven't sent the letters out, but I'm, getting ready to do so. Yeah. Taking photos and.
I should lend you my golf cart, John.
That'd make it a little easier.
Yeah.
All right, very good, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else got anything else they want to discuss this evening? All right, I would make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Jim did. All in favor? Aye. You all right?